Welcome to Get a Clue, Casual Gamer, where we get a clue, C-L-U-E, about a game. Or, in today's case, a list of games. I have been looking at my favorite types of games and realized that there's some that have a lot of things in common. And because of that, I decided that I am going to share with you my top 10 plus one favorite, what I like to call pattern or tableau building, excuse me, tile placement, puzzly type of games. Excuse me, my dog has decided that since I've started talking, I must pay attention to her. Okay, she's settling down under the table. Good girl. There we go. Okay, so anyway, so today we're going to look at some incredible games that have a little bit in common and a little bit different. But they're all what I like to call pattern building and mostly tile or card laying games with some little puzzliness to them. So here we go with my personal top 10 pattern building puzzly games. Yeah, what kind of title do I give this list? I'm not sure yet. Anyway, okay, so number 10, and I'm actually going from 10 to 1, from largest box to smallest box, because I like them all and I've played them all and I enjoy them all, so let's get to know them. First of all, I have recently done an individual game. When I do individual video for this first game, and some of them I've done videos for, not all of them. Yeah, but maybe I'll need to make sure to do more games, more videos on individual games in this list for those that I have not done one yet. But anyway, this first one is one that I have just recently done because I had finally just recently gotten it played so that I could make sure that, yes, what looked interesting, the reason why I bought it, actually, yes, I like it. And it is big box. Planet. Planet is a game where everyone will have their own little planet. And there are magnetic pieces, and you will be drafting these magnetic pieces to place onto your planet and get points dependent on where you put it and the criteria of the cards that you have received and achieved throughout the game. Let me give you a little bit of information about this game. First of all, it came out in 2018. The distributor or publisher is Blue Orange. It takes 30 to 45 minutes. It plays 2 to 4 people, and it is a honkin' big box. But it is incredible components. Hold on a second. That was my dog trying to dig through carpet, apparently. So there you have Planet. The next big box is another gorgeous game. I love gorgeous games. And it is called Copenhagen. I think I've done a video on this one. If I haven't, I will in the next few weeks. Okay, within the next month or so. I already have the next 2 planned, so I'll add it to that if I have not already done it. Just to let you know, this is video 68 in the last 6 months, So I have a list, and I have to keep on looking at my list to see which ones I've done and which ones I haven't, because apparently I don't have a steel memory to remember which ones I've done. Anyway, Copenhagen is a game where you are building up the front of your house with windows and walls, and it's beautiful. Now I have the basic version. There is a deluxe version. You know, I have talked about it in some, either a list or in it itself, because I remember saying this. The deluxe version is acrylic tiles. This version is cardboard tiles. You know, I'd rather spend money on more games than on really punching up, getting the more expensive version of a game. I want to be able to play the game, and yes, it's gorgeous, but yeah, I could buy another game for the difference in price. Anyway, Copenhagen, you are buying there's set collection in it. There is you have the tile laying. You collect cards, you spend them to buy pieces, polyomino shaped tiles that will fit on the frontage of your house, and depending on where you place, where you put the windows, where you don't put windows, what row or column you complete, where they cover a certain space, kind of like Scrabble, where there's some spaces or rows that give you extra credit. That's Copenhagen. That's what these different games have in common. The placement of what you are picking up or receiving is important for the final total points for winning the game. So in Copenhagen, by Queen Games, came out in 2019, plays in 20 to 40 minutes, 2 to 4 players, and again, is a big box. It's the same size as Planet, but not quite as thick. But yeah, it's beautiful, gorgeous, plays well. Not all of these, again, this is a casual game channel, so all these games are in the casual game level of play. So that is my number 9, Copenhagen. My number 8 is Azul, and I have done a video on Azul. Azul is a tile laying set collection puzzly game. They all are. And the gorgeous pieces, nice like bakelite tiles, and you're creating sets so that you can place them, and depending on what set you choose, where you place them, to how many points you will end up at the end of each round and at the end of the game. It is just lightly puzzly, wonderful entry game. In fact, Planet is a wonderful entry game. Copenhagen well, these are all easy to learn, easy to get to play, and then the second and third time you start strategizing, but you can play it within minutes of sitting down and learning it. They are all very good that way. Azul this is the original, and there are 3 others that play just a little bit different, but they all have a similar aspect to it. The most recent one, Queen's Garden, I'm not sure if it's gotten to the United States yet. Just came out like in November in Europe, so we're waiting for it. But any of them, they do get a little bit more puzzly, a little bit more, maybe you could call it difficult, as you go along. The second one is Stained Glass, third one was Summer Pavilion, and the fourth one is called Queen's Garden. But the original Azul, gorgeous tiles that look just like this. and they're nice, chunky, and oh, tactileness, wonderful. And that is my number 8, Azul. My number 7. Actually, the box is right there. See that? Corco. I pulled out my travel version so that I didn't have to deal with the big heavy box. And this is all about tiles and getting them into sets and where you place them in kind of like a Scrabble type of setup, a crossword type of setup. You have these 6 colors, 6 patterns, and depending on where you put these together to how many points you get. You can, if you put in the 6th of any of a specific color or a specific shape in a row, you quirkle and you get double points. So placement, choosing what you have and placing them where you place them can really change your score. So quirkle is simple. It's colors and shapes, and you're just laying them down in sets, either sets of all the same color, different shapes, or all the same shape, different colors. And that's the game. That's what I love about these games. They have a little bit of puzzliness, but they're not brain burners. They just give you just that tweak of, yes, make you feel smart. Kind of like, I got this. I don't think I've ever played a game where no one at some point didn't get a quirkle. So, you know, it's like when you just manage to have just the right piece at the right time and place it there and get those double points, it's wonderful. It makes everyone very happy. Then the next one, I didn't tell you much about that. Oh, Azul. You see, I have all this information in front of me and I didn't say anything. Azul, which is down here now, came out in 2017. It's by Next Move Games and Plan B Games. Takes 30 to 45 minutes, 2 to 4 players, and excellent game. Quirkle came out, is actually the oldest on my list. It's 2006. 2006 by Mindware Games. It's about 45 minutes, and it's 2 to 4 players. I actually have, in the full size, I have 2 sets that can be played separate or can be combined, and then you can have up to 8 players. And you just need a big table because this is going to spread out, and because like crosswords, or dominoes, it's just going to go in all different directions. And so, yeah, but that's Quirkle. Now my number 6 is Lanterns. Lanterns is it's a tile laying, hand management, pattern building, set collection. Not really set collection. I wouldn't think too much set collection. But I guess in a way it is. Well, yeah, because you have to collect the colors so that you can't, let me show you what it looks like. There we go. Hey, there you go. You do need to collect these cards so that you can get by the points. So there is set collection in that you're collecting a certain pattern sets of these cards, whether it's one of each color or 3 sets of 2 or 2 sets of 2 or 4 of one color. 3 sets of 2, 3 sets of 2 or 4 of one color. You'd think I hadn't played this recently, but I just played it this week. So it's kind of like, okay, but I play so many games. I think I played 36 games in March. So yeah, trying to remember everything here on camera. Anyway, now You kind of like dominoes. When you place something, it has to match at least one of its sides. Now, this one matched here and here. So that was a wonderful placement and fortunate to have a card that could do that. This one touches just the blue, but depending on the where you place it and what direction the tile goes to what color cards you receive, so that you can figure out what cards you want, which ones you need, which little tokens you can get to help buy cards that you're missing the color of, that you need to complete a specific set to get points. So the place, again, it's this light puzzling placement, just like dominoes. I mean, really, it's not, and it's pretty. It's got these colors and these lanterns, kind of like, you know, Rapunzel, is it? I think it's Rapunzel, yeah, the little cartoon movie. This came out in 2015 by Renegade Games and Foxtrot Games. It takes about 30 minutes. It's a 2 to 4 player, and it's gorgeous. It's pretty. It's the wonderful components. Again, if I haven't done an individual video, that will be my next ones to do, is to fill in individual videos for the games that I have not done, because these are some of my favorite games and I want to make sure that you can get a clue. Now, if this is the first video you've seen of me, when I talk about getting a clue about a game, it's a CLUE. C for components, what are you going to find when you open that box? L for length, how long is this game? U for uniqueness, what does this game remind me of? And E for ease, how easy is it to learn, teach, play? How easy is it to find? How easy is it on your pocketbook? So when I do a specific video on a specific game, that's what we're looking at as quickly as possible. Okay, so that was number 6. Now we're down to my top 5. Number 5 is number 9. NMBR 9. Number 9 is a tile laying pattern, or it is a pattern building, because what you're doing is you're taking tiles that are shaped roughly like numbers 0 to 9, and you're creating a foundation on the first level, and then you're placing number tiles on top of that foundation, but it has to be completely covered beneath any tile you put on top. And you're trying to get them to be 2nd, 3rd, and 4th levels, if at all possible, because you get more points the higher a number is of levels. And so the placement is the puzzly thing. It's like everyone has the same chance, because everyone is going to be using the same number at the same time, but everyone is going to place it a little differently. And so by the time you get to the 3rd, 4th, and 5th cards, the numbers, everyone's looks different, because we're all having our own creative puzzliness. Where are we going to place this number 5 so that it either is completely covered underneath, has a full foundation of cardboard underneath it, because it is cardboard tiles, or is it going to be part of the foundation? Do I have to widen the foundation because there's no place for me to put the 5 on top of something else? But anyway, that is number 9. Number 9 came out in 2017, and it is from Abacus Spiel Games and Z-Man in the United States. But yeah, and it plays in about 20 minutes, and it plays 1 to 4 players. This is the first one we've talked about that can be played solo. You're just trying to get the best score you can, trying to create the best structure. I think I might just play this one after this video because it doesn't take up a lot of space. And right now, space is at a premium. So I might just have to play this again. I played it this last week, so yeah. But number 9 is my number 5. It's a wonderful little game, and it's one of the simplest of these 10. In fact, in the bottom 5, we have the 2 easiest and the 2 most thinkiest of these games. So let's continue with number 4. Number 4 is Patchwork. This is my Patchwork Christmas. There are all sorts of patchworks. The first one I ever received was Patchwork Express. And I got that for Christmas over a year ago. I got this one just before Christmas this year. And it is you're creating a quilt, tile laying, pattern building, because you're trying to cover your quilt completely, because any empty spaces at the end are a -2 points. You're trying to get buttons, because that's how you win, is you make the money in this game, the points in this game come from the buttons that you get. And so I have this on app as well, and I've played it a couple times this week on my app. But it's a 2-player game. It came out in 2014. Oops, there we go. In 2014, Lookout Games is the publisher, and it takes 15 to 30 minutes to play. It's a nice, simple game that you can just bring to the table. At the very beginning, it can be a little bit of a table hog because you have to lay out all the tiles in one big oval, and that can take up a little bit of space until you start whittling it down by buying these pieces and placing them in a way that you will end up with as few empty spaces as possible. Sometimes you can even fill the entire thing. I've only seen that once. The lowest I ever got was 2 empty spaces, and I was quite proud of that because that was only a -4. And I actually won that game because my opponent, which was an AI, had a lot more buttons than me, but they had a lot more empty spaces, and those were all -2. And my buttons ended up being higher than theirs, so I got that one. Number 3 is Point Salad. Point Salad, these last 3 are all card laying. They're not tile laying. All the previous ones were actually some sort of a tile. These last 3 here are cards. And Point Salad, all the cards on one side have some sort of vegetable, salad vegetable. And on the other side have some sort of goal to get points. And the key for the player is to pick out the goals that they want to try and achieve and the vegetables that they need to achieve those goals. And yeah, I did talk about that. Okay, so and that's the game. This is the other easiest, simplest game out there when it comes to my Puzzly pattern building, and this is the one that really is the least pattern building, because you're actually not building a pattern per se, except that goals will be at the top and the vegetables will be below. That's about the only pattern, but you are set collecting, you are choosing, drafting the cards that you need to best play and get the most points. And this is just, I love that, I apparently love that mixture of choosing or using what I have and placing it to the best of my ability to try and get the most points possible by the end of the game. And that's apparently one of my big loves when it comes to playing games. And if that's something that really speaks to you, these are all incredible games. They're all casual, they're all accessible, they're just spot on. This one came out in 2019 by Aldrock. Yeah, well, okay, AEG. Let's just say AEG. It's an Aldrock Entertainment Group, but it's AEG. Just say that. It plays in 15 to 30 minutes. It's a 2 to 6 player game. It's the only game in this list that goes up to 6. It goes over 4. Or no, actually, I do have one that goes to 5. So it's the only one that goes up to 6. And it's colorful. It's simple. It's just cards, and it's really, you're just making a bunch of you're making a bunch of salad or you're purchasing the right kind of vegetables so that you can complete some of these, like, you know, you get a point for every lettuce you have, and you get a point for every tomato you have, or you get 12 points if you have at least one of 6 different vegetables. I mean, it's like all of these different little things, and it's just a point salad of getting points. That's actually a term in gaming for games that give you points. If you do this or that or that or that or that, you just get points. You just have to decide which ones am I going to go for. That's the big question. That was my number 3. My number 2 is Arboretum. Love this game. Card game. Beautiful trees. And you are creating your own arboretum. And the placement of the trees will result in paths that get counted as points. But you also have to have the most of a tree in your hand, I believe, to be able to count that type of tree in your pattern, in your tableau. It is a tile laying, but really cards laying, tableau building or pattern building, hand management, set collection, Puzzly. It's considered one of the 2 most puzzly of all of these games because of the specific placement of the trees and also what you keep in your hand. So Arboretum, it came out in 2015. It is by Renegade. Here, I think it used to be Z-Man, or at least mine is Renegade. Maybe it's now Z-Man. I mean, it's like these companies, if the rights are for a company in another country, they will sell the publishing rights in the United States to specific companies, and these are all very well-known companies in the gaming world. But it, yeah. It's mine's box says Renegade. Maybe it was Z-Man originally, or maybe it's Z-Man now. Games, I don't know. It takes about 30 minutes to play, 2 to 4 players, and it, like I say, it is considered one of the puzzlier ones of all of these games. And my number 1, but don't stop after number 1, because my actual favorite game is still to come. I didn't even want to mechanic because it was going to be my bing. And if you've watched any of my videos, you probably already know this. But my number one of these cards is Village Green, and thank you, my friend Darlene, for giving me this game because it stresses her out. It relaxes me, but it stresses her. And I've been waiting, it's been on my wish list. I've been waiting for it. And so we kind of like swapped a couple games for this one. And Village Green is just pretty, which is why she bought it, because it was just pretty. And the cards inside are also, well, let me cover that, are also very pretty. Okay? You are creating your village green, the park in your village, and in it you'll have certain trees, certain statues. You might have a gazebo, you'll have water, you'll have grass, you'll have different plants, flowers. It's like all, it's very pattern and tableau building for sure. I'm telling you that for sure. It is definitely tableau building or pattern building, because you have criteria. At the top of a column, there will be a card that you choose that you're trying to fill the three that go down, three or four down, get points from that one. And then, and there's three or four across. I can't remember, and it's only been a couple weeks since I played it. And then you have, I think it's 4 rows, and each row has its criteria. And so you're trying to find the perfect card that will fit that criteria and that criteria, so you can get double points. And so, yes, it's puzzly, and it can be aggravating when you know it's like, this is going to be impossible. I laid down that card and now it is impossible. I cannot get a point for that one, and I can't put something next to it because it breaks the pattern. And so it's just that puzzling, that little light bit of puzzling. So Village Green came out, I think this is the newest of all of them. Oh yeah, this one and my all-time both came out in 2020. So Village Green came out in 2020. Osprey Games, OG. It plays around 30 minutes, and it also is a 1 to 5 player count. 1 to 5. So it can be played solo. It is just a deck of cards, a lot of cards, pretty cards, but it's a simple game. Just a little puzzlier than some of the others, because you do have the criteria in one direction and in the other direction. So it's a little puzzly, but it's not a brain burner. It isn't. But then my absolute favorite game happens to be a tile laying, pattern building, set collect, drafting, puzzly game, and it's Kohaku. And if you've seen any of my stuff, you know that Kohaku is my favorite game right now. I love creating a koi pond. You just, when it's your turn, you pick 2 cards or 2 tiles. They're, I have the second edition, which is cardboard tiles. The original edition was acrylic tiles. Good luck finding any of those. You'll have to buy them from somebody who already has it. In fact, I think they're working on getting I'm not sure if they even have any more of these right now. It's by 25th Century Games, and came out in 2020. It takes 30 to 45 minutes to play. It also can play single, 1 to 4 players. I have played it probably as many times solo as I have played it with someone else. I prefer playing it either solo or with one other person. When you start getting to 3 or 4 players, it starts getting a little busy and you don't really get a chance to get enough of those tiles to really get some good points in. But I love it. You're just taking a fish and another piece, which they have a fancy name for, a feature tile. You're taking a koi fish tile and a feature tile, and you're placing them someplace on your koi pond, depending on, you want the frog to be near tiles that have dragonflies, and you want the rocks to be next to tiles that have baby fish in them, because you get extra points for that. And then you have tiles where if they have black and red on the fish, they get extra points than if they just have black or red. It's just light puzzle, but you're wanting to draft the cards and create this tableau, this pattern, so that you get the most points at the end of the game. Love this game. My favorite. And it's the reason I did this list, because I said, oh, I just seem to really like these types of games. Now, there are other games that are similar like this that I have not included. Up here, way up there, is Carcassonne, which is a tile laying, pattern building. You're creating it, a little hand management, worker placement, all that kind of fun stuff. It's not my favorite. Don't get me wrong. There are thousands of people, tens of thousands of people who love Carcassonne. Yeah, I, for some reason, am not big on it, but I haven't given up on that because I know I like these pattern buildings. I don't think it's enough pattern building for me. But I have 2 other games that I will show you. I have not played them because they are the most recent acquisitions of mine. Yeah. One is Land and Sea, and I believe it came out late last year, like November of 2021. So it is a very new game, and it is tile laying, but making patterns of land and water depending on what your criteria is. I have not played it. It's 2 to 4 players, Good Games Publishing, and yeah, that's about, it's like 40-minute play, and there you go. Land and Sea, very popular right now. It's a hot game right now, but I think even maybe hotter than that. And I am really glad I have this now, because I think this will have a very similar feel to Kohaku, is Cascadia. In it, you are choosing a tile and a little animal, and then you're going to place a tile, and then you're going to place an animal, and you're trying to complete certain criteria of where you're playing it, where you're laying it, so that you can get the best points. And it is from AG and Flat Out Games. It plays 1 to 4 players. Ooh. And 30 to 45 minutes. And so I'm kind of looking forward to these last 2 games that are my newest. I literally have just opened them and processed and looked at them to make sure I've punch out the pieces and have them bagged and ready for me to learn the games and play them. And I have a feeling that they will become part of this stack of games that I've just shared with you. But they are the newest, and I believe both of them came out in November of 2021. So they are very new right now in the game world. So there you have it. You've got a clue about games that are a little puzzly, not complicated, tile laying or card laying, Some of them have a little bit of a set collection, but it all depends on where you lay things down to how you can get the most points at the end of the game. And so there you have it, a whole list of new games to look for. And again, any game that on this list that I have not done a single video for, I will be doing it in the near future. Happy gaming. God bless you and your family. Go play a game, a new game. You don't have to be a hobbyist for any of these games. These are all casual games, family-friendly games that you can bring out and learn and master. You don't have to just be stuck with the same old games. Bye for now. Until next time. Bye.